took a lot of sitting down, looking my adrenal fatigue in the eye, and just deciding I'm done feeling like this. You know, this is real, this is not going away, and I have to do something about it. So guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be on a topic sounds corny, but it's near and dear to my heart. It has been something that I have been dealing with for a majority of my life. So I thought it'd be important to share just my personal journey with it and where I am now, because like I said, it's been going on for pretty much my whole life. By the time I was senior in high school, was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. It's something that I went to the doctor for because no matter how much sleep I got, like I would still be just so exhausted. And my parents finally decided to take me to the doctor. Basically all they said was that, yeah, this is what you have. I really don't remember too much else after that. They didn't have a specific treatment or solution for me. I think we just kind of left. It's really weird to think back on that memory because it is kind of blurry. So just a very quick overview of what adrenal fatigue is. Adrenal glands, you have two of them. They sit on top of each of your kidneys. They are part of the endocrine system, aka your hormones. Specifically, your adrenal glands are responsible for producing your stress hormone known as cortisol, and it's responsible for other hormones as well, but cortisol is the one that I'm most familiar with. Basically, every time you get stressed, you have a stress response, and that includes adrenals pumping out cortisol. The whole chemical pathway that I won't go into, nor do I even have the proper knowledge to even try to explain it. Basically, that is the gist of it, and over time, your adrenal glands can become tired of pumping out so much cortisol all the time because you're so stressed. Basically, your adrenal glands, they become resistant to cortisol. At that point, your body is just burned out. No matter how much sleep I got, I was still tired, very tired. This has gone on because I haven't really done anything about it up till recently. It's kind of crazy to think that majority of my life I have felt all of these things, but the good thing now is that I'm doing something about it. I finally found something that is working for me. Going on with the symptoms, don't feel bad for me. Just know that this is a real thing, and I'm not the only one going through it. Lots of people are going through it. Lots of people are dealing with way worse symptoms. Some people just like can't do anything at all and just can not even function. And some of these people are, you know, like mothers and have to take care of their children. But I'm not gonna lie, like this is a tough thing to not have answers and to feel just like you have no idea what is going on. You know something is wrong, but you don't know exactly what is wrong. Other symptoms besides just feeling super tired all the time, no matter how much sleep you get. Inability to participate in activities that bring you joy. You just feel like you just don't have energy. It doesn't even have to be something physical. It can be just being with friends, even being social can be like really exhausting sometimes. And things like dancing, and I mean that's more physical, but just like cooking, just like everyday things that bring me joy, I can find them hard to do. Okay, I'm really sorry about this lighting. This is a big one and it's not surprising, but it's difficulty waking up in the morning. I have felt this like majority of my life. I have never been a quote-unquote morning person. Up until recently, nowadays, I have these new habits set. It is easier for me to just wake up and feel awake instantly, but I've never had that like before. I've always had a hard time waking up. It's just that feeling of like not being awake for hours after you've already woken up. It's really weird. Like, I didn't feel awake until like 11 a.m. and I would wake up, like say if I was going to school, I'd have to wake up at like 7 a.m. And that's because your cortisol levels in the morning should be at its highest. Because cortisol is that thing, that stress response, so to speak, that wakes you up, that gets your blood pumping. When you have adrenal fatigue, like it's complete opposite. Your cortisol is just the lowest of lows in the beginning, in the morning. A symptom that is not surprising. Dependency on stimulants to make it through the day. Sounds pretty obvious, right? And that was totally me. It's not me anymore. Coffee was definitely, I mean, I've been drinking coffee, Starbucks since I was like 14 years old. I don't know, I'm kind of guessing. Yeah, it was just a normal thing, and like doubly bad because Starbucks frappuccinos and like lattes, and that's what I would get. Those are also super sugary. I'm so sorry about this lighting. I know it's terrible. Fully aware. I'm gonna just continue. Another huge symptom that I experienced was afternoon fatigue. Not shocking to hear, I guess, because the first symptom that I told you was that you're just tired all the time. Afternoon fatigue was definitely a thing for me for a long time. Not to say that it's not anymore, but it has gotten a little better, so that's really good. Okay, another symptom really hits home for me is inability to cope with stress. The body is chronically stressed out and burned out and just like so tired. It makes sense that after a while, like you're just unable to like even stress, like what? Like more stress? Like I didn't know what to do with stress, and I'm still like trying to find a solution. What do I do when I come across stress? My only way of coping was probably just to freeze. Poor memory. To think that like all throughout my high school years and college years, like how did I like survive like tests, and it's crazy to think about. But poor memory, short-term poor memory for sure, and long-term poor memory. Again, your nervous system is just so shot. It sucks. I actually do feel like I'm getting better with that too. Anxiety. Yep, that's another big one that I have dealt with for majority of my life. It's crazy because I don't even think I acknowledged it for at least half my life. I just chose to ignore it, which like doesn't make the situation any better. It just makes it worse actually. Again, this is getting better as well. I am so quick to recognize when I do start to feel anxious now. I'm more vocal about it, obviously. Increased PMS symptoms. Oh, yes. I'm not going to get into crazy detail or anything like that, but 100%, 200% yes. I read somewhere that like your hormones are like the last stop of the train, if that makes sense. For females, when you start to see like issues like with your hormones or with your period, there's probably like a whole bunch of other things that are like already going on that you may not be aware of. Craving sugar, salt, or fat. Sugar probably is the biggest one for me, or was the biggest one for me. I was named like the candy head growing up in my family. Like literally that was my nickname. I just could not get enough of sweets when I was younger. Irritability, yes, unfortunately. I can think of many times, where I just was very irritable. Dizziness, feeling lightheaded, or getting a head rush, and rising from a lying or seated position. 100% yes. Okay, so how I tested for my adrenal fatigue was through a hormone test, through a saliva test. Gave saliva samples during 4 different times of the day, and basically that was just testing for my cortisol level. Basically a healthy adrenal function would show that you have the highest cortisol levels in the morning when you first wake up, and then it gradually decreases until the evening time. It should be at its lowest, and that's when melatonin takes over. But for someone with adrenal fatigue, it's gonna look the opposite basically. So that's gonna look like lowest levels of cortisol right when you wake up, and it stays pretty much low throughout the rest of the day, and then you get to the nighttime and it spikes, and then you have a hard time falling asleep and you feel tired but wired or whatever. So very true for me. Also the rest of your hormones, I'm talking more about like testosterone, DHEA, and progesterone. Those are probably going to be low as well. So the main cause of adrenal fatigue is stress. Life is always going to have some sort of stress. There's always going to be something that is going to be stressing you out. Right now, for me, it's this fly that is circling my head, and it's like honestly driving me insane, and I am trying my best to just make this video, and it's driving me crazy. But honestly, okay, the point is that there's always going to be some sort of stress, but it's our job to manage that stress. So, take my own advice right now because I am feeling a little stressed. Okay, so now I'm going to get to what I've been doing to, I don't want to say fix, but what I've been doing to get rid of a lot of that adrenal fatigue and just let my adrenal glands just relax for once in my life. Like literally. It's been a period of 6 months. I have seen a lot of results in terms of energy, mental clarity. Okay, so what I've been doing, first thing, so I've been doing a lot of adrenal cocktails, and basically that is something that you can make at home, but it includes all of the important minerals that you need that are depleted when you are stressed. Talking about sodium and potassium, vitamin C, magnesium, those are the four main ones. I also took another test. It's called a hair test, hair tissue mineral analysis test. That shows your minerals. My sodium and my potassium and my magnesium were just totally depleted, and my vitamin C was also depleted. Adrenal cocktails can be orange juice. I put grapefruit juice, coconut water, some sea salt in there. It's just something that you can do that's really nice for your body. With a meal, probably would be best, or if you do drink it just by itself, I would suggest adding in a little bit of protein like collagen so you don't get that blood sugar spike. What I've been doing has just been reducing my stress by just taking time off for myself. I have just been taking some time off work, just taking time off in general, and not being so busy. So yeah, just living a more like minimalist lifestyle has been really helpful. Avoiding alcohol and caffeine. Not that I completely gave it up altogether, it's just for like this short period of time I really have been minimizing it to like every once in a blue moon. Both of them just don't do anything for my adrenal fatigue. Okay, on another note, if I am going to consume any of those, I make sure I do not do that on an empty stomach. I always have food. Going back to the minerals, specifically sodium. Sodium I had the like very least amount of. So I really kind of focus on sodium, even though I should be focusing on both sodium and potassium. Salting my lemon water, specifically with sea salt. I eat within an hour of waking up now, and that just really sets the tone for the rest of the day with my blood sugar. I eat every 3 to 4 hours, and again, keeps my blood sugar stable, doesn't stress out my body. Protein, fat, and carb with every meal. Again, blood sugar stays stable. It's what we want. We want our bodies to feel safe, nourishing. Is I check in with my body throughout the day. I don't even realize, like, probably like my whole life, I didn't even realize when I would get stressed, my whole body would tense up. So now throughout the day, I just give myself like little check-ins here and there, especially when I feel like irritable or something just like stress me out. And like even before that happens, I just am more aware, I guess. I just try to feel like, oh, right now I'm like really, my shoulders are really tense, or my jaw's really tense, my breathing is really shallow, you know? Things like that gives you a chance to just take a breath, relax, and stop tensing up so much. Just giving myself more siestas throughout the day, giving myself more time to just chill between a busy day, just like not feeling any guilt at all, to just lay down and relax and do nothing for a few minutes. And then a huge part of my healing and getting rid of my fatigue has been reestablishing a sleep schedule and sticking to it. So going to sleep at the same time, waking up at the same time. Oh my gosh, that has been huge for me. So huge. Making sure that I'm getting that 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night, like solid. It sounds so simple, but it's really just like establishing a good sleep routine or a good nighttime routine, even a good morning routine, why not? Just routines in general, so important. Part of that is just reducing light exposure at night and actually winding down. And in the morning, that looks more like just exposing my eyes to morning light, getting that cortisol as soon as I wake up. Another huge one, it sounds simple. All of these sound simple, and they pretty much are. It's just a matter of sticking to it. Exercise is important, and we do need to move our bodies every day. But when you have adrenal fatigue, you really need to focus on those activities that keep you in that parasympathetic mode, like walking outside. Like a huge, very important for me to do every day. Okay, so going hand in hand with that last one is just not overdoing it with exercise. And that's been kind of hard for me to do. I've always been one to enjoy like a tough workout. It's been nice to take some time off from that, but now I kind of feel like I need to like incorporate more lifting weight. At the same time, I need to be very careful with that because I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to overstress my body, and I want to just feel good after a workout. I don't want to feel exhausted, and that should be the goal. Okay, and then just quickly some supplements that I've been taking: ashwagandha, B vitamins, magnesium, vitamin C, beef liver. Those are just some of the supplements I've been taking specifically for my adrenals, and I do feel better after taking those. Beef liver is something like kind of like came out of nowhere, but it is like a multivitamin. It's high in vitamin A, copper, iron, folate, and others. So I see it more as a multivitamin, and maybe in another video I can go into more detail on that, but I feel like I wanted to just include it in here because I feel better taking it. I explain, I just have more energy taking it. Okay, so I know not everyone is going to be able to do this, but if you are able to, I recommend a few protocols, I guess you could say, that have helped me because dealing with adrenal fatigue, when you're dealing with any sort of issue in the body, it's important to remember that everything is connected. So you have something called the HPA axis. And if you think about it, it makes sense because it stands for the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. So your hypothalamus and your pituitary gland are part of the nervous system, and then you have your adrenal glands that are part of the endocrine system. Two different systems, but they are closely connected. It's, your nervous system is connected to your digestive system. Things that can make your adrenal fatigue worse are just related to your digestion. If you're putting in like really processed foods, sugary foods, it's gonna mess up your gut even more. It's gonna cause more imbalances. You gotta make sure that you're taking care of your gut. So there's lots of things you can do for that, and this is what I've been doing, and I feel like it's helped me. It's helped me to an extent. I did Dr. Cabral's detox, liver detox, limited yeast protocol, because I do have an overgrowth of yeast and candida. That has to do with your gut. Yeast and candida are both normal parts of your microbiome, but if you have too much of anything, you're going to have some sort of imbalance. The limited yeast protocol was to help me balance out my microbiome a little more. I continued on with I've done an intestinal cleanse that was 5 days long, and right now I'm currently doing a ZBO finisher protocol, and that is basically just healing and sealing my gut. It's been 2 weeks since I started that, and that is 8 weeks, I believe. I'm all about this natural health stuff. I know not everyone is going to be able to buy these things because they can be expensive, but if you are serious about fixing your gut health and your nervous system and your adrenals, I would recommend doing some of these as much as you can. Not ready right now, then that's okay. To find the right time for you, because these things can be time consuming, and you want to make sure if you're going to do it, you're going to do it right. So that's what I've been doing for the past 6 months. And adrenal fatigue, chronic fatigue, been going on for most of my life, like I said. It's probably going to take a lot longer, but what I've seen so far, it's been quite the journey so far. So I know a huge part of it is figuring out how to manage my stress, and I have to figure out like the best ways for me. I'm still working on that part. Right now I find that walking, getting outside, sleeping enough, and eating enough has helped me so much so far. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. I just quickly want to make one disclaimer. Adrenal fatigue, like many conditions, has a spectrum or different stages to it. There's like mild, moderate, severe adrenal fatigue. Your body is different than my body. You have different genes than me. Bio-individuality will always be a factor. Not to mention, like, I'm just a person that has done some reading and just really wants to find out answers for myself. So it's not that I have all the answers. This is just what I've read from multiple health professionals that I follow on social media or I listen to their podcasts or I've read their books. So I really encourage you to do your own reading. This is just what has been working for me. A big part of that is just me learning how to listen to my body. If you're not there yet, then that's okay, but I really just encourage you to do. Lastly, I just always recommend that you seek out a trained health professional. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. That's all I have for today. Hope you guys are having a great day, and I hope to see you guys in another one of my videos. Bye guys!